This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Hashimoto wins third straight World All-Around title. Yulo Asian Gymnasts headline apparatus finals. Arwind Santos suspended indefinitely, fined $100K after MPBL playoff incident. Manny Pacquiao may return to the video game ring. Shohei Ohtani versus Babe Ruth, the ultimate showdown in baseball history. Spurs showcase dominance, stopped Mavs 125-92, and Wembanyama and Castle shine. Jazz crush Clippers 132-95 as they build a 37-point lead in season opener. And Pinoy boxer IBF mini-flyweight champ Pedro Taduran prepares for his title defense in the upcoming Thrilla in Manila 2. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 23rd of October. Now, here's our roundup. Japan's Daiki Hashimoto has done it again. The Olympic champion captured his third straight men's individual all-around title at the Artistic Gymnastics World Championships, a feat only previously achieved by legend Kohei Uchimura. After finishing sixth at last year's Paris Games while battling a finger injury, Hashimoto bounced back in style. The 24-year-old held the lead entering his final apparatus, the horizontal bar, and stuck his landing to score 14.700, finishing with an overall total of 85.131 points. China's Zhang Boheng took silver with 84.333, while Switzerland's Noe Seifert claimed bronze at 82.831. After missing the podium in Paris and seeing fellow Japanese gymnast Shinosuke Okatake take gold, Hashimoto says he's now enjoying gymnastics more than ever. Meanwhile, Filipino gymnast Carlos Yulo is aiming to reclaim his dominance in the floor exercise finals on Friday, October 24. In Jakarta, Yulo scored 14.566 in qualifications, just behind British-Filipino Jake Jarman. Yulo will also compete in the vault finals on Saturday, October 25. Across the individual apparatus events, Asian gymnasts are showing remarkable strength. Yulo represents the Philippines in the floor and vault, reflecting Asia's growing dominance in men's gymnastics on the world stage. Shockwaves in the MPBL playoffs. Arwind Santos of Basilan Star Horse Sportmasters has been suspended indefinitely and fined 100,000 pesos for hitting Gensan Warriors' Tonton Bringas. The incident happened at the 8-minute and 32 mark of the fourth quarter in Game 2. Video replays show Santos swinging his arm and connecting squarely with Bringas' face, resulting in an immediate ejection. Despite the drama, Basilan held on to win 116-114 in double overtime, forcing a Game 3 decider. MPBL Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes called the move deplorable and said the league will not tolerate such actions, hoping the sanction sends a clear message to players to keep their cool. Basilan defended their veteran, claiming Santos had been targeted by repeated unsportsmanlike actions from Bringas that officials failed to address, and confirmed Santos has reached out to settle the matter amicably. Now, all eyes turn to Game 3 this Friday as Basilan hopes to win a spot in the semifinals. Babe Ruth, the original two-way legend, a dominant force both on the mound and at the plate. Nearly a century later, Shohei Ohtani is redefining greatness. After his Game 4 performance in the NLCS, 3 homers, 10 strikeouts, the comparisons are impossible to ignore. The collectors are talking. The hobby is heating up. Ruth's 1933 Gaudi 144 card remains the gold standard. But Ohtani's 2018 Topps Gold Rookie is closing the gap fast. Both sit around the $3,500 mark, iconic in their own right. The question is, Who's the smarter investment? The case for Ruth, the numbers say it all. Ruth's career WAR, or WAR, 182.6. Ohtani, 62.2 after his monster 2025 season. At that rate, he'd need another decade just to catch the babe. And then there's scarcity, only 118 known Ruth cards from his playing years compared to over 22,000 for Ohtani. So by the time he retires, that number could hit 6 figures. The case for Ohtani, Ohtani is a global superstar, a crossover icon. He's capturing hearts from Tokyo to LA, rewriting what's possible in the modern era. But the market is saturated. In the long run, Ruth still reigns supreme. The 1933 Gaudi 144 is timeless, a piece of baseball soul. Ohtani is living history, but Ruth is immortal. The bottom line, Ohtani is changing the game, but Ruth defined it. Boxing fans, get ready. Manny Pacquiao might be headed back to the virtual ring. Undisputed, the mainstream boxing game for current-gen consoles and PC dropped a tease on X, a pixelated boxer with the caption, "Guess the Fighter." And the clues point straight to Pacquiao. The game, released in October, didn't include Pacquiao in the original roster. Since then, legends like Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Juan Manuel Marquez have been added via DLC. But Pacquiao's character doesn't have a release date yet. And this isn't his first rodeo in gaming. Pacquiao was a star in the Fight Night series in the early 2000s. In real life, the 46-year-old legend is still active. He came out of retirement last July, holding world champion Mario Barrios to a draw in Las Vegas, and he's set to fight again in January next year. In the NBA, Victor Wembanyama dominated with 40 points and 15 rebounds as San Antonio routed Dallas 125-92. Stephon Castle added 22 points and 6 assists. Dylan Harper, 15. Devin Vassell, 13. Keldon Johnson, 11. The Spurs shot 57.5% and led by as many as 33. For Dallas, Anthony Davis had 22 points, 13 rebounds. PJ Washington, 17. Rookie Cooper Flagg debuted with 10 points and 10 boards. Wembanyama exploded early with 21 points and 8 rebounds in the first half. And San Antonio pulled away in the third quarter with an 11-0 run. He made all 9 free throws, had no turnovers, and flaunted no-look passes and reverse dunks. Both teams were without starting point guards De'Aaron Fox for San Antonio and Kyrie Irving for Dallas. Meanwhile, Walker Kessler dominated with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. Lauri Markkanen and Bryce Sensabaugh each added 20. Utah shot 55.2% and dished out 38 assists, setting a franchise record for points in a season opener. It's their first win in an opener since 2022-23. For Los Angeles, Ivica Zubac had 19 points, James Harden 15 points and 11 assists, and Kawhi Leonard 10. The Clippers never led and trailed by as many as 37. Keontae George contributed 16 points and 9 assists, while rookie Ace Bailey had 2 points in his NBA debut. With a record-setting opener and dominant performances across the board, the Jazz made it clear early they're a force to watch this season. And now here's your daily dose of sports lingo. Can you name the gymnastics move that involves a series of flips, handsprings, and twists across the floor? This move is called a tumble pass. It refers to a sequence of acrobatic skills performed in order across the floor. Athletes combine flips, handsprings, and twists to show off their strength, agility, and grace. Mastering a tumble pass requires precision timing and years of training. It's one of the most exciting and dynamic elements in floor exercise gymnastics. So remember, the next time you watch a floor routine, keep an eye out for the tumble pass because it's where athletes really let their skills shine. It's time for our off-court buzzer. After banning Israel to compete at the 53rd FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Championships, the International Olympic Committee issues tough measures for Indonesia. The International Olympic Committee dropped the hammer after Indonesia revoked visas for Israeli gymnasts. This led to the IOC recommending that the country be barred from hosting future international events or conferences until it guarantees access for all athletes regardless of nationality. Olympic qualification principles will be updated to require participant access guarantees in hosting agreements. The IOC has summoned the Indonesian National Olympic Committee and the International Gymnastics Federation to Lausanne to discuss the incident and prevent future issues. This decision sends a clear message that the IOC will not tolerate discrimination and that access and fair play remain non-negotiable in international sports. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 23rd of October. Up next, Sheila Salaysay reports on how Pinoy boxer IBF minimum weight champ Pedro Taduran is all set for his title defense in the upcoming Thrilla in Manila 2. When we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. Thrilla in Manila 2 is only a few sleeps away, and our very own IBF minimum weight champ is ready to defend his title. Here's Sheila Salaysay with the details.
A new chapter in Philippine boxing unfolds with the opening of the Thrilla in Manila 2 countdown. After successfully defending his crown against Jinjiro Shigoka in Japan, and ahead of this historic showdown at the Araneta Coliseum, IBF mini-flyweight champion Pedro Taduran is set to face another challenge. Looking back at the fight in Osaka, Japan, where Pedro Taduran once again defeated Jinjiro Shigoka via split decision on May 24, 2025 to retain his IBF minimum weight title, marking his second victory over the Japanese fighter.
Siguro yung ko nasa ensayo namin, yung maganda yung training namin, tsaka gusto ko po talagang manalo, kaya yun, nagtagumpay po kami sa laban na yun.
At 28, he has already reached the pinnacle of his career. Every triumph came with countless hours of training, moments of doubt, and the pain of pushing beyond limits, all to reach this level of greatness.
Simula start pa lang ako magboxing, sabi ko gusto ko mag-champion na kahit dito lang regional o makalabas ng bansa. Yun po, pinagsikapan ko po talaga, nagdisiplina po ako sa sarili ko na yung maganda yung ensayo, mapagpokusan, yun kaya po nagbunga naman po yung paghihirap ko po.
As a boxer, he continues to be strengthened by his experiences.
Siguro yung natalo ko na dalawang sunod dun sa dinipinsa ko rin yung IBF na yun, sobrang talaga sa training pinagsikapan ko po yun, tapos pagdating ng laban di ako nanalo, kaya nininayag po ako. Gusto ko po talaga na yung hindi lang world champion, mas gusto ko pa rin yung makilala sa dito sa buong Pilipinas, buong mundo.
His next challenge on October 26, 2025, right here in Manila, where he will face number 1 IBF contender Christian Balunan. Both fighters come in with impressive records. Taduran, 18-4-1, 30 knockouts, and Balunan, 12-0, 7 knockouts. But Taduran's experience, power, and speed are expected to give him the edge in this highly anticipated showdown.
Siguro yung experience ko na rin, tapos yung magandang pag-iensayo namin. Gusto ko po manalo dito sa laban na to kasi gusto ko rin po labanan yung si Oscar Collazo para sa unification belt.
Pedro Taduran returns to the ring in the Thrilla in Manila 2 countdown to defend his crown with the same grit and heart that made him a champion and to prove once again why the title rightfully stays with him. Reporting for The Scorecard, Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Up next, two teams at a crossroads. The Chargers need a statement win under the lights, while the Vikings are desperate to prove they're still contenders. Can Herbert outgun Wentz, or will Flores' defense steal the show? We're about to find out. So you know what to do? Keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. All right, buckle up because tomorrow, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Chargers is on. And this one's a gut check for both teams. The Chargers are 4-3. The Vikings are 3-3. And both are trying to convince us they're not just middle-of-the-pack mirages. Let's call this matchup what it is. Justin Herbert's firepower versus Brian Flores' controlled chaos. Los Angeles enters Week 8 with a top 4 offense in the league, 3rd in passing yards, 4th overall. But here's the catch. They're scoring just 20 points a game. And that's a red flag for a team that lives by the deep ball. Minnesota, meanwhile, is quietly becoming one of the strangest, most fascinating defenses in football. Flores' blitz packages are coming from every direction. Corners, safeties, even slot receivers. And somehow, they're the second best third down defense in the NFL. So yeah, strength on strength. And someone's going to blink. So let's talk Justin Herbert. The guy just threw for 420 yards in a loss. That's like ordering a 5-star steak and still walking out hungry. His arm talent is absurd, maybe top 3 in the league. But those turnovers, 5 interceptions on third downs this year, that's what separates elite from almost elite. Now this week, it's going to be about poise. Flores is going to blitz him into submission unless the Chargers can protect. And that's a problem when both starting tackles, Joe Alt and Trey Pipkins III, are banged up. If those guys don't play, Minnesota's exotic pressures could wreck the rhythm early. Now on the other side, Carson Wentz gets another start. His 5th straight with J.J. McCarthy still out. And you know what that means. The Wentz experience, some perfect drives, and then the random interception that looks like he's throwing to a ghost. The good news, running back Aaron Jones, boom, might be back after missing 4 games with hamstring injury. If he's active, that changes the math. The Vikings are dead middle of the pack in rushing, but Jones' vision could help keep Herbert off the field. And if they can keep it close late, the Vikings defense, which has multiple sacks in 10 straight games, can turn momentum fast. Now, keep your eyes on Keenan Allen. The man is a surgeon in the slot, and he needs just 8 catches to become the all-time leader in Chargers history. Antonio Gates had the record. Think about that. Gates, one of the best tight ends ever. Now, Allen's about to pass him. He's torched Minnesota before, 8+ receptions in 5 of 6 career games. So unless Minnesota disguises coverage like they did against Philly, Herbert is gonna find his guy early. Also, rookie tight end Oronde Godson, the second. He just went off for 164 yards last week. Second most by a rookie tight end since 1970. It's not a typo, 1970. He's quickly becoming Herbert's bailout option. Now, the Chargers haven't lost to Minnesota since 2021, and they're playing at home under the lights. But the Vikings have won both games in Los Angeles since the Chargers moved to SoFi. That's not a stat. That's a weird football voodoo thing. Add to that is Minnesota's kicker, Will Richard, is quietly 13 of 14 this year, and he just nailed a 59-yarder. He's automatic indoors. So, here's what it comes down to. If Herbert can survive the chaos and Keenan Allen does Keenan Allen things, the Chargers should win. But if Brian Flores' defense gets one of those snowball quarters, a sack fumble, a tip drill interception, this game flips fast. It's not just about who's better, it's about who handles volatility better. You ever meet a team that's 4-3 but feels 1-6 in your soul? That's the 2025 Los Angeles Chargers. They've got a quarterback with a rocket arm, receivers who run like Olympic sprinters, and still, somehow, they invent new ways to lose. And this week, they get Brian Flores' Chaos Factory, the Minnesota Vikings. exotic blitzes, backup quarterback, total mayhem. So yeah, tomorrow is about to get weird. And that's a wrap on our Week 8 Showdown preview. The Chargers are chasing redemption. The Vikings are hunting for respect. And only one team can rise above the chaos. The lights are bright, the stakes are high. So tune in, lock in, and as always, keep your eyes on the prize. Here's a developing story. Portland Trail Blazers coach and former Detroit Pistons star Chauncey Billups have been arrested by the FBI as part of a federal sports betting investigation. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was also taken into custody in connection with the same case. The arrests stem from a year-long investigation into illegal gambling schemes involving professional athletes. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York are expected to hold a press conference to release details. Reports say free agent Malik Beasley is not confirmed to be among those arrested. However, sources close to the investigation told multiple outlets that his status could depend on the Department of Justice's next announcement. Beasley had previously been looked into by the NBA for possible gambling violations and cleared by the league for making a bet or two on another sport. The NBA maintains strict confidentiality, but as one source put it, you can't control the government. Reports say that Rozier met multiple times with the NBA and FBI last year and that the initial league investigation found no rules were broken. The DOJ press conference is expected to confirm formal charges against Billups and Rozier, while Beasley's role, if any, has not been officially determined. Before we go, think on this. From Northern Irish professional golfer and five-time major champion, one of 6 men to complete the modern career Grand Slam, and the only European to do so, Rory McIlroy, once said, "Never ever give up on your dreams." And with that, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.